What if the dead are closer to us than we ever imagined? What if they see us, hear us, and even know what we say about them when we think no one else is listening? Today, you're about to hear something that may completely shift the way you see life and what comes after. Brothers and sisters, today we are about to witness something truly extraordinary. An eye-opening testimony that transcends speculation, dismisses myth, and dives deep into the reality of the afterlife. This isn't just a collection of opinions or vague spiritual theories. These are the actual words of Maria Simma, an Austrian mystic who, throughout her life, experienced profound and recurring contact with the souls in purgatory. Have you ever wondered, can the dead really reach out to the living? If so, what do they want from us? What are they trying to tell us? And perhaps the most mysterious question of all, why does God allow this? Maria Simma received her answers not from books or priests, but directly from those suffering in the flames of purification. These souls, enduring pain we can barely comprehend, begged her, "Do not forget us." They longed for help. They longed to be heard. What you are about to hear may unsettle you. It may stir something deep inside. But it will surely make you reflect on God's unfathomable mercy, His perfect justice, and the immense importance of praying for the souls who can no longer pray for themselves. This testimony reveals truths that challenge modern assumptions and awaken our sense of eternity. Many wonder, could God really permit the dead to appear to the living? If so, why? What purpose does it serve? Well, one thing is clear: God doesn't allow these supernatural events to entertain us or satisfy our curiosity. These are not ghost stories or superstitions. When such phenomena occur, they are firmly rooted in the divine plan of salvation. We are invited to approach them with reverence, not skepticism. Through these rare encounters, God calls us to a deeper understanding of life's purpose and the power of spiritual intercession. These manifestations offer deep consolation to the souls who suffer, often forgotten, in purgatory, and they serve as a powerful wake-up call to us, the living, to detach from this passing world and focus on the eternal. The danger today lies in our comfort. The material world, with its endless distractions and comforts, makes it easy to forget what truly matters. But everything in this life, our wealth, our homes, our businesses, will eventually disappear. Sometimes sooner than we expect. We leave this world with nothing but our deeds, just our good deeds. Yes, we need material things to survive, but the problem begins when we allow those things to own us, when we cling too tightly to what was never meant to last. That's why God, in His mercy, sometimes permits souls from purgatory to reach out to us. He grants these encounters not to frighten us, but to remind us to awaken our hearts. Private revelations like these serve one sacred purpose: to draw us closer to His grace. The souls to whom God grants these extraordinary missions often carry the seeds of their calling from birth, even if the grace blooms later in life. The Lord's ways are mysterious. He can turn the greatest sinner into the greatest saint. Just think of Saint Augustine. But what exactly do the souls in purgatory know about us? Much more than we think. They know who comes to their funeral, They see who truly prays and who merely shows up. They sense when people leave after the offering instead of staying for the full Mass, which would benefit them far more. So often, we escort the body to the cemetery and think our duty is done. But the souls know, they see, they feel. They even know everything that is said about them. Every prayer offered, every act of love or indifference. They are not far from us. In fact, they are very close, perhaps closer than we'd like to believe. One day, Maria received a visitor. Before he even knocked, she heard him grumbling outside her door. His tone was sharp, skeptical. When she opened the door, there stood a man, clearly agitated. "What is this nonsense about souls in purgatory?" he demanded. Maria calmly replied, "It's not nonsense." Still muttering, he got straight to the point. "Did Mr. E appear to you?" At that moment, Maria realized who he was. A relative of Mr. E, a soul she had previously spoken about. The story that unfolded next was more than a coincidence. It was divine orchestration. As we saw earlier, Maria Simma's encounters weren't just about visions, they were missions. Some souls carried urgent requests, unresolved burdens from their earthly lives, hoping someone among the living would help set things right. One day, a man came to see Maria, clearly disturbed by what he had heard. She had delivered a message regarding his family, that something they had acquired dishonestly needed to be returned. When the man confronted her, she answered his question with calm clarity. "Yes, that is what I was told." Immediately, his demeanor shifted. He erupted in anger, swearing and accusing her of deceit. "This is a lie, a scam to take our money," he spat. "What possession did we supposedly obtain dishonestly? Tell me." Maria stayed composed and replied gently, "I don't know the details. I was only given the task to ask your family to return the wrongly acquired property." He pressed further, agitated and skeptical. "What property? Which one?" Maria looked at him and said, "That you should know." And in that moment, without warning, the truth was made clear to her. She suddenly understood exactly what the item was. At the same time, she became painfully aware that this man's faith was incredibly fragile. His bitterness ran deep. He even went so far as to curse the Pope, the Church, and religion itself. But Maria did not respond with anger. Instead, she calmly explained why restitution was so important, not just for earthly justice, but for the soul crying out in purgatory. Her peaceful presence softened the man's heart. After a long silence, he said, almost to himself, "If that's true, then I need to start a new life. I've lost all faith in priests, but maybe it's time to start believing in God again. Because there's no way you could have known about this. Not even everyone in the family is aware of it." That wasn't the only moment that showed how the actions of the living affect the dead. On another occasion, a woman came to Maria and confessed, "I had to suffer 30 years in purgatory because I didn't allow my daughter to enter the convent." Her voice carried sorrow and regret. This experience made one thing painfully clear. Parents who block their children from following their divine calling, whether to the priesthood or religious life, carry a heavy spiritual responsibility. According to what Maria learned from the souls, many parents will have to give an account before God for refusing to let their children dedicate themselves to Him. So, what are the sins that receive the most severe punishments in purgatory? Maria revealed them clearly. Sins against charity, slander, calumny, resentment, lawsuits driven by greed and jealousy. These are among the most bitterly punished offenses in the afterlife. And yet, a simple act of kindness can change everything. Just imagine, a man regarded as good for nothing could rise to become a respectable, dignified person if only others treated him with patience and charity. How often do we fail to show that charity? How often do we criticize others or mock them, even if just in thought? These actions leave lasting stains on our soul. Think of the elderly woman living alone who struggles in silence. She may be just 10 meters away, yet the young people nearby don't even notice her. They could offer a hand, clear a snowy path, bring a warm meal, but they don't. And yet, works of charity like these are the ones most richly rewarded in heaven. How many times do we sin not through actions, but through words? Words sharp with judgment, dry with indifference, void of love. If we truly lived by what the Blessed Mother has asked, to be kind and charitable to everyone, we could transform society. We would have no reason to fear ideologies like communism. Because words hold power. One word can kill. One word can heal. As Scripture says, love covers a multitude of sins. This is why Christ calls us to love. Not just those who love us back. Even pagans do that. He asks us to do good to those who hate us, to bless those who curse us, and to show mercy to those who offend us. Why? Because this is what makes us true followers of Christ. This is the path that transforms enemies into friends and greatly reduces the suffering of our own souls in purgatory. And what is the nature of that suffering? Maria explained that the souls in purgatory suffer in countless ways. There are as many forms of suffering as there are souls themselves. Each one burns with the same desperate longing for God. And that longing, that intense desire to be with Him, is the most unbearable torment of all. But it goes further. Every soul is punished in the very area of its weakness, the way in which it sinned during life. Doesn't that mirror our life on earth too? The glutton feels stomach pain. The smoker is ravaged by lung disease. Even in this life, our wrong choices leave visible consequences. In the next, those consequences are magnified. But here's something astonishing. No soul in purgatory would ever want to come back and live the way they did before. They have seen things we cannot imagine. They understand now the profound value of purity, truth, and divine beauty. Maria gave a powerful image to help us grasp this. Imagine a young woman, eager to attend her first elegant ball. But she's wearing a tattered dress, her hair uncombed, her face unwashed. Would she step into the grand ballroom like that? Of course not. In the same way, a soul that has glimpsed the brilliance of God's glory is overwhelmed by its own unworthiness. And so it desires purification. Like gold refined in fire, it wants to be made clean completely before it dares to appear before the throne of the Almighty. Only a soul that has been purified, made luminous, radiant, and free from every stain of sin can draw near to the eternal light. Only such a soul dares to approach divine perfection, to behold the face of God in all His glory. Brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of a powerful journey. We've listened carefully to the testimony of Maria Simma, a woman chosen to carry the voices of the forgotten, the unseen, the souls in purgatory. And now we understand something profound. These souls are not distant or lost in some faraway place. They are close, closer than we imagine. They see us, they hear us, they know who prays for them and who doesn't. And God, our merciful, loving Father, allows them to reach out, not to frighten us, but to help us, for their liberation and for our salvation. Throughout Maria's testimony, we've learned much. We now know which sins weigh most heavily in the afterlife. Sins like slander, hatred, cold indifference, and selfishness. These are not small matters. Their consequences reach beyond the grave. So, what can we do? We can pray. We can offer sacrifices with love. We can have masses said for the souls who suffer. And perhaps most important of all, we can change. We can allow our hearts to be transformed, so that our own souls may one day shine with that same purity and light. Because one day, it may be us who need the prayers of those we leave behind. Don't let these words fade away. Don't walk away unchanged. If this message touched you, if something deep within your spirit stirred, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below. Let others hear this testimony. Because the world needs to know, death is not the end, and no sin, no matter how dark, is greater than God's mercy. May the Lord bless you. May He guide your steps, and may He fill your heart with compassion for both the living and the dead.